Hello and welcome. It is, of course, World Building Wednesday. No. It's Solo Sunday. Yes, that's the one. It's Solo Sunday. One moment, we are experiencing ever so slight technical difficulties. We should have them solved in a minute. We're trying a bunch of new things, far too many new things at once on such short notice, such exceptionally short notice. So let's try this again and hope that things aren't absolutely messed up. There we are. We do appear to be having some form of issue on the technical end, to a degree. Hopefully it sorts itself out. We'll give it a minute and see. So, as always, I'm your host, Casimir Basilius, Imperial Lord. Hopefully everything is working. We are, of course, trying, as I said, some new technical stuff. There's a lot of new technical stuff going on. A bunch. Loads of new technical stuff. For one, I suppose we'll start with something simple. Let's get the data sheet out of the way. For one, as you can see, our map tool's color scheme has changed. For two, other than our map tool's color scheme, I learned a few things about map tools. For instance, let's make sure it's displaying properly. Look at that. There's themes for sheets and map tools, and I think this pixely cyberpunk-ish theme is absolutely lovely. So, yes, a bunch of new map tool stuff in that sense. Yeah, of course, theoretically, attempting for the first time in a long while to, well, for the first time attempting to multi-stream. However, I'm not sure if it is working at all. It half says it is, which is strange. I can only hope. I have no way of telling. It's far beyond my capabilities. That's what I have conscripts for, but the conscripts don't know what they're doing, so that's just how it goes. Hopefully it sorts itself out to a degree. I do not think it is working, however. And in additional news, what else is there? Oh, I made a few tokens. Well, I edited some existing images into new tokens, which is always fun. Because I was quite annoyed that there wasn't a good Dyson swarm. There wasn't a good Dyson swarm. There also wasn't a good ring world or such. So I used some existing tokens we had and just sort of cropped an existing planet's background into an existing ring to make a ring world token. If I can find it. Been doing a lot of token editing. Unfortunately, where is it? Here we are. I also took a ring from another planet, not for a ring world, just for planetary rings, because we didn't really have a way to display visually planetary rings. So why don't we just show some of those off? So, we of course had a gas giant image from who knows where, I have no clue. But we had a gas giant image. And, well, how better to get a planetary ring than to rip the ring off of a gas giant? And then, of course, that is all nice, but it's at an angle, so we also have a standard non-angled planetary ring, which, if you want to know how these are used, we can just grab any token of a planet we have, bring it to the front. Now, of course, you see it's not scaled right, obviously, but we just go to the editing, properties, no, config. Here we go. Let me just scroll it, and bam, we can slap a ring around any planet now, which is real nice. So yeah, we can now do that, but that's not all, of course. Who doesn't love a good megastructure? Hmm. So with our megastructure, we had a few images. They weren't megastructures, but we were able to make do. So, of course, we took some little dots from something. I believe they were part of a control panels pack. but made them into a swarm, not for over planets. I suppose you could throw it over a planet, but I mean, if it was to be over the planet, technically it would go arrange, bring to front, and have it behind the ring, I suppose. But it's more so for Dyson swarm based things. You know, you can grab a, if you can find it, star. Oh, come on. Don't lag out on me. And slap, oh, layers. Slap it in front of a star to represent a Dyson swarm. More accurately, I mean, they'd still be a bit big for a Dyson swarm, station scale wise, but it's just a good representation. Now for the fun ones. Oh, we did edit a little swirl. We had a swirl. We just drew a little black hole in the center. And because I wasn't a fan of our previous image we used for black holes. And now, for my favorite, we had a ring image. I believe it was from Star Sector, maybe? I'm not sure. But we had a ring image. Two halves. You could put them together to make a full ring. Or, obviously, you could use it to be a planetary ring. In this case, it would be, of course, behind, more than likely, the natural ring. Just planet scale-wise, you know. You put it behind the ring. Let's see whether we can't grab a planet real fast so we can give a better example. Here we are. Basic planet. So that I can slap an orbital ring over a planet. Oh. Arrange. Slap an orbital ring over a planet. Or combined both the images to make a, where is it? Singular ring, of course. We don't have a non-tilted version. I suppose I should just go into the editor and make a non-tilted version by just rotating the image, you know? Without having to rotate it naturally. And we could just go like that. Anyway. But, so this ring was nice. But we edited it ever so slightly using a planet image like that to make a, where is it? Orbital ring. Isn't that lovely? Of course, if you want it to be fancy, what you do is you take something like that. You take a star size. And you can basically make a ring world. There's also a couple other ones edited from the same type of stuff for circular ring worlds, depending on how you want it. Of course, this one we'd have to also unsnap from the grid. But let's do something a little fun that I specifically am able to do, thanks to the part that it's in two separate images, which is arrange, bring to front. You can actually make it. Nope. Wrong layering. Arrange, bring to front. Arrange, bring to front. Now, what? You can have a ring in a ring, which is always fun, and then you can put that around the star, and so forth. I am quite a fan of megastructures, as you may know. Anyway, enough of that. Let's actually get to Solo Sunday. It does appear, however, unfortunately, that half of our technical issue is not solved. Not ideal, not ideal at all, but that's not too important. An attempt was made. I suppose we'll try and fix it some other time. My apologies for that. I'm not sure what went wrong or why it did, but it does appear to have gone wrong for reasons I can't possibly comprehend. Like I said, that's the domain of conscripts. So now that we've done attempting to troubleshoot in the background while talking about stellar objects, let's get to the dice rolling. That's real weird. That is exceptionally strange. I'm not sure why it's not working. Anyway. So. Let us, I suppose, continue where we left off. We, of course, got back to base, checked our gear, got some grenades, and some other things. We completed our contract, got 5,000 bucks, and spent it all. So, let's figure this all out. Okay. There we go. Interact. Had to find the right button there. So here we have Ulan Alvis's sheet, same as usual. Nothing's really changed. I'm just quickly checking our gear. Okay, nothing too much we need to worry about. We did steal a corporate light APC, so we are going to need a stat block for that. So, if you don't mind, I will take one moment to grab said stat block. Assuming I didn't mess up. Item catalog, military vehicles. You got the vehicle section, scroll down to military. Okay. Grab the light version. Let me double check the stats real fast. Okay, so we're looking for a DR of about 12. Let's just copy that flat. Paste it. How much health should this thing have? 45, not 50. But it should have the odd 12, not 5. Passengers should be 10, I believe. Let's double check that. Yep. Cargo shouldn't be 10 tons, I don't think. It should be 1 ton, because this is not a truck. There we go. 12.7 millimeter ballistic HMG, yes. There we go. And there we have our stats for our corporate light APC. That's what I mean when I say stats in Galactic Requiem are modular, and we can make them real easily. Is it a stronger vehicle? Is it a weaker vehicle? Etc., etc. We can literally randomly generate. Oh, what is this DR? Minus or plus 1d6, you know, like you can custom make anything instantly, basically. We basically understand how it all works. Anyway, so our allies are scrubbing the vehicle for us so we can use it without problem, but we shouldn't use it immediately, as we should wait for it to be scrubbed, cleaned, if you will, not literally cleaned, but made so it's not necessarily tied to the faction we got it from. And got it from, by that I mean stole it from after we killed the majority of the people who it belonged to, you know? We'll say that it got refilled on ammo by our allies while doing so. Because I'm sure it fired a few shots, but I forget exactly how many, and we're not going to bother going back and counting. It's going to be what, like 100 space bucks, 200 maybe at most to get the ammo back. I know it didn't run out of ammo, you know? So, given that it's probably words are hard, a credit or two per bullet, it's going to be 200 bucks. I know it didn't fire constantly, so it didn't run out of all of its ammo, so, you know, the gang will cover that. Okay. We will, of course, take things slow, as per usual. I'm quite ever so slightly disappointed. I was hoping we could get all of our technical stuff working this day. On the bright side, at least Map Tools' new fancy stuff is working. I say new. I haven't updated. I usually don't update Map Tools, so this isn't a new update. It's just it was at some point they added this, and I just never knew. I absolutely adore the character sheet options because I mean look at that. Look at that. It's so cool. It auto makes the image 8-bit pixel mode. I love it. I love it. It doesn't work for everything. Like some things don't appear very well in pixel mode, depending on like coloration and so forth. Like I'm sure this one's probably not. This one actually works in pixel. Some things don't work well in 8-bit mode. But what I also love is I'm not going to do it because I don't think it'd become visible. But we can actually I can do it to the top left. You can actually change the location of it so you can make it look like a cyberpunk phone call, I suppose. I love it. I can't believe I didn't know about that. Anyway, we'll put it where it's usually the bottom left, but we'll leave it in pixel mode because I adore it. I also actually filled out the character sheet on the token, so even if it's in normal mode, like you'll see the data appear there. Just for easier tracking so I don't have to swap back just to figure out what my AC is, you know? But I love the green text and like the line and it's so perfect. I love it. I will always look. I've been using map tools for so long and I love it. The more I learn about it, the more, I mean, I say the more I learn about it, this is something I probably should have known. I've been using map tools forever, like basically ever. So, you know, years and years and years and years. pretty sure over 10 years I've been using map tools specifically, and before that it was actually pen and paper. So, but I mean, it's always being updated and so forth. Look, I will always speak well of map tools because it's free. A, it's absolutely free. B, it doesn't have limits. You can drag and drop as many images in there. They're stored on your computer. There's no service that's going to be like, hey, buddy, you uploaded too many images into our server, delete some or upgrade to premium. No, no, no. Just store as many images on your computer as you want, drag and drop them as needed. No stupid limit. Also, the map size has no limit. Back in the old days, I made a 2-scale galaxy image. It was 200,000 squares, also known as 200,000 light years across, in squares, like actually. And just the fact that map tools allows you to do that, or to make a world to scale 5-foot squares, which I've also done. There's no size limit to a map in map tools. Like, if we wanted, we could just keep zooming out until we got to actually 5-foot square planet scale. We could. You could theoretically make a map that big. The only limit is literally just your computer's processing power. And I suppose whatever arcane system map tools rolls on, eventually running out of, I don't know, you might eventually encounter I think it runs on like a mix of Java and HTML or something like that. Until you encounter an error in the code or something. But I have made a planet 5-foot to scale. So, like, of course I didn't populate the entire thing. It's just I drug a map out to that scale. And it was like, yeah, no problem. If you want it to be that way. The galaxy map, I did put stuff in basically, not every square full, of course, but in all the far corners of the galaxy, the edges had like a few planets that players were at. So, like there were things at every edge of the map. Of course, not full, but things. And it remained, it worked. So, these are the reasons I will always talk well of map tools. Absolutely free, ridiculous scale, all these neat features. I didn't even know that there was these new sheet things that let you have custom fancy sheets. I didn't know it had themes. For instance, you've probably used to seeing it in light theme, or if you watch my old videos, I'm pretty sure I did map tools before I updated it, in which case the background looked different, and now themes. So I'm in dark mode just because I find it more pleasing. Anyway, I'm sorry, side tangent about it. I just love map tools, is all. It's also super easy to make maps in it. And, I mean, you can custom code macros, you can custom code pop-outs, like, technically, and all that stuff. Automatic dice rolls, all that fancy stuff. And Fog of War. We've never used Fog of War because, well, it would be sort of hard when solo playing, but I've used it recently with my players. Fog of War and vision blocking, quite fun. All sorts of fancy stuff you can do with map tools. But you have to set it all up for the most part, at least when it comes to macros and all that. I'm nowhere near insane enough to figure out HTML and Java and macro stuff. No, 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 no. I used to have basic macros, roll, or once roll and add stat from sheet. But, I don't have the time or capability to do any of that anymore. So, let's get to it. We have our stat stats all set, our gear. I believe we got grenades. Let's double check. I want to make sure. We got the fancy grenades, didn't we? Yep, multi-purpose plus sensor. You know what I've written? We have money. Grenade launcher? I mean, if we have multi-purpose grenades, we might as well get a grenade launcher so we can launch our grenades far. Do we have drone grenades? Is that part of what it comes with? Of course, as I always mention, this is we have advanced technology here. And low tech. There's also low tech stuff, but we have advanced tech, so sometimes I wonder, because I don't know offhand what the corporations build. I mean, you can quiz me instantly on any imperial thing. Of course, as an imperial lord, I can tell you basically anything instantly about the empire. Well, my own faction in the empire, my domains. Well, not anything. Of course, if you ask me, oh, what is Citizen 5532855 doing? I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know. What's Conscript 883721 doing? I don't know. But, you know, like, what's the standard Conscript kit? Easy. I can answer you exactly what the standard Conscript kit is, you know? Also, the standard Conscript kit, I'm wearing part of it right now. I'm wearing a Conscript's chest plate. As you may know, here we have a conscript. Our good conscript. I had him step in from, well, right over there. They're managing our videos right now. They're what allow us to broadcast to you, our loyal conscripts. Anyway, they did mess up. They weren't able to get the whole multi-stream thing working. So, you know, we're not going to talk too nicely of the conscripts today. Get back to your managing the broadcast. Go. Figure it all out. There. So, of course, I am wearing a conscript's chest plate, my old conscript's chest plate. Back from my conscript days. Anyway, enough about me. We're talking about you there, not all this. Point being, I'm not sure what the fancy modern grenades of the non-Imperials come with. That's basically what that entire point was. So let's see what standard grenades come with. Here we are. Nope, 120 millimeter, that's not a grenade. Rocket launcher, nope. Grenades, here we are. A multi-purpose case is a standard grenade template that allows a grenade to be thrown, set like a mine, used with a launcher, stuck to an object, or set as a trap. A sensor package may also be attached. This allows IFF ident, remote detonation, proximity detonation, timer detonation. So we can do both. We can set our grenades as timers. We can set it for proximity. We can set it for remote. We can even allow IFF ident. Now, it's not sentient. That would probably cost a bit more. I say sentient, I mean a robot brain, if anything. Also, I mean, I suppose we could also get it to be net connected. I suppose it is technically net connected, which is, I mean, with sensors, we can actually, depending on what kind of sensors, detect if somebody's near it, detect if they're ident. It would probably cost more to get more advanced detonation programs, which we don't have, but basically we can know if there's somebody near it, and then we can detonate it remotely. Basically using proximity sensors. Now, IFF ident isn't super useful unless you're in a military situation, or you have allies with such things, or a camera, which we don't have built into it. So basically that means, you know, if a civilian walks up to our grenade, we'll know they're near the grenade. We won't know that they're a civilian because we won't be able to ident them. they need to specifically be on our TACnet for that. So, like, it's not super useful unless we have people on a TACnet and we know we're in an enemy area. But, like, also theoretically, like, we could just put a camera. That's some. I realize we've made a mistake. There's still time. We could buy a bunch of small cameras. Theoretically, we could get. We already have the grenades, so we can't get them built into the grenade, but we could get, like, cameras, little cameras, so we can see. A bunch of, small tech things. There's also automated grenades. Fancy stuff, An automatic drone grenade. You throw it up, and it flies towards a target. Usually via visual or radar, depending on whether it's automatic or non-automatic. You can also get a droid brain in one. I say droid brain, I mean, the most basic. You remember that the majority of thinking chips are roughly, well, let's, for the most part, smaller than a penny. What you Elysians would consider a penny. Smaller than a dime, even, more than likely, if I recall. Ultra thin, ultra small. Basically, you put in your brain, neural data pad and all that. But basically, yeah, I mean, So, we got a light APC. Now that I think about it, there's always more that I want to buy, I'll be honest. We could attach guns to the front of our hover bike, which would be neat. Attaching a 20mm cannon to our hover bike. It'd have to be a small one. I say cannon, but like, that'd be neat. Could fight in the air. Dog fight in a hover bike. Hover bike's not fast enough to actually dog fight. How fast does it go? 3520? Maybe. We could dogfight in a World War II sense in our hover bike. If I've done my math right, which I forget the exact calculation for it, so I might have done it wrong. Assuming its movement, which listed there is 3520, assuming that's its full movement, it can move at 400 miles per hour. So I suppose it could partake in a dogfight with World War II era vehicles. It can't really engage in a modern dogfight at that speed. He would not keep up. Anyway, shout out to the United Energy Conglomerate. I believe that's what the UEC stands for. Let me check my data net. I suppose you can't see me checking my data net, as you can't see my visual data net implant. Anyway, that's not important. What's important is let's make sure we get the corporation's name right. Yep, the United Energy Conglomerate, the UEC. A major nation. Not a major nation, a major corporation. Top 20, I believe. Yep, they're a top 20 corporation providing a variety of energy-based goods, be it, well, they produce a lot, let's be honest. The UEC produces energy weapons, starship engines. I mean, they even provide energy to houses, like they run entire networks and systems of power satellites and all that. There's nothing the UEC doesn't really build or work on. They are a top 20 megacorp after all, They work on a little bit of everything. But their primary focus is just things that are energy based, providing energy to houses, starship power cores, laser weapons. They even produce the vehicles, as you can see by the fact that we have a UEC brand hover bike. I say we, I mean you, Lana, all this. I personally don't own a UEC brand hoverbike. Not that I couldn't get one, but, I don't have one. Everything I own is usually of Imperial build. Um, but mounting a gun on it, quite probably illegal. Probably make it a non. Well, I say illegal. It really depends on what world you're on. Let's be honest. Laws vary via world, but generally most civilized worlds don't like you driving around with a 20 mm mounted on your vehicle, let alone a 50 mm mounted on, not 50 mm, a 50 caliber mounted on your vehicle or anything really. But but you'll probably get it as a detachable mount. Probably get it lightly swivelable so it fires an entire front arc. Um, yeah, like that's an option. It would cost a lot of money though. I believe it cost around 20, 30,000 Galactic Standard credits, maybe more. Not something I really want to do. And if we did do that, we'd need a fancy auto 20 mm. It's not like we'd want a, 20 mm anti-material rifle. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd do the job, but like, probably want rapid fire. I mean, if we just get a weapon mount, we could just mount a assault rifle to it. Like I said, we could get an interchangeable mount. Wouldn't that be neat? Get it HUD linked, so whenever we look at aims in the forward arc and just, fire at anything that, as such. Hmm. All this and more. That's the thing. There are almost endless options in Galactic Requiem for equipment and customization and all that. Like, I could sit here all day thinking about things I want and then getting annoyed because we don't have the money. I mean, we have the money. We have 80,000 bucks. So, there's a lot we could get, but there's a lot we can't get. But I did say we'd explore the world. I said we would explore the world. So, let's see. Also, we might take a few contracts. So, let's think about all this. Um, we have a neural data pad. Assuming we had somewhere safe, we could just fling ourselves into the net. Wouldn't that be fun? Flinging ourselves into the net. We don't have a mind upload. So we can't really. Well, that's the thing. We can upload ourselves to the net. We can remote connect, but it would always technically be a remote connection. Now, it's not like we're using a physical data pad, so it's not like there's any severe penalty. Really, basically what I'm trying to say is, so it's a real weird concept. If you're digital, you could actually leave your body and theoretically travel across the galaxy through the net, like actually travel. And then you could download into a robot and you would be there and your body would be where it is, right? Now, the difference is you then all this isn't digital. She's not uploaded. So she could project into the net and do basically the same thing. Basically, the absolute same thing. But she would need a constant connection because her body is here and the actual processor is in her head. If you're digital, you can theoretically basically move your processing hub to another location. So you could actually be processing out of the robot that you're in all the way across the galaxy and no longer be in your primary body. Now, Yula and Aldous being only digital, being no non-digital, could do basically the same thing, but she wouldn't be there. If there were any disconnect or any such thing, she would immediately snap back to where she is. While if you were digital and you actually set your processor to there, if there's any disconnection, you just wouldn't be able to go back to whatever previous body you were in or whatever previous location you were in. However, if you're digital, you can do the same thing as somebody who's non-digital and just have a remote connection. It's not like you need to move there to do something there. So it just gives you an additional option of actually hosting yourself out of that location as opposed to remote connection. While you then Aldous has to only remote connect, and somebody who's non-neural datapad can do what you then Aldous is doing, except they wouldn't physically be there, like they wouldn't see out of the eyes, because they don't have a neural datapad. What they would do is they'd see the display on their datapad, like a physical computer. They'd see the display on the computer, and basically they could, control it like a video game, if you will, if they didn't have a neural datapad. But if you have a neural datapad, you can remote connect and you could feel the senses. So if the object you're controlling has senses, you could feel the senses. Same if you're fully uploaded. If the robot has tactile sense and you were to touch a table, you could feel the table if you have a neural datapad or if you're an uploaded being. While if you are using a datapad, of course you can't because there's that medium of the space in between you. There's the space in between you and the datapad. You're not actively mentally connected. However, there are upsides and downsides to that, which is if you have a neural datapad, you can get your brain hacked. Well, if you're using a physical datapad, you can't get your brain hacked. But brain hacking is rare. Unless you're, let me put it this way. Brain hacking is not as simple as you would think. Usually, people can hurt you, technically, but they're not going to take over your body or anything unless they get a tier 3 hack. And usually you're warned against it, so you can auto disconnect. So, unless you're up against a super elite tier hacker or an AI, not just an average AI, super AI, a bunch of normal hackers or a super elite tier hacker, you're probably not going to get your brain tier 3 hacked and then absolutely devastated. So, it's relatively safe. Your average hacker is going to stun you for a while. Wow, you've been stunned. Now, I say your average hacker, it's not like, oh, haha, somebody's hacked. I mean, we're talking combat hacking, penalties of years and years in jail if they do and get caught or stuff like that. It's not something you have to worry about. Even in a military setting, it's not something you too much have to worry about. Usually you're connected to a TACnet. I mean, it's risky, but the benefits way outweigh the drawbacks. Just flat. If you have a neural datapad, you're flat better. You are flat better at many things. You want to know something? Congrats, the computer's in your brain. You don't need to look it up. Download the information instantly. Calculate things automatically. Just absolutely constantly connected to your squad so you know where they are at all times via TACnet. And usually for military ones, it's secure and protected by some form of AI and several layers of defenses. So even then, it's not necessarily likely you'll be hacked. And even if you are, it's usually going to be lesser because the same rules apply. So, the upsides far outweigh the downside. I forget, which is something I really shouldn't forget. Does you and all this have a AI? Because I know we have a neural data pad. We do. We have a basic assistant AI, one of the cheapest possible, technically speaking. Because we have a +2 neural data pad, so we could get a far better AI, but, you know. Anyway, so yeah, our options are endless. We're in between contract. We technically have an overarching contract in which we need to protect somebody, but like unless the gang base comes under attack, we're relatively fine. The world is at war, so you know there's that going on. But we're just holding technically. Um, hmm. We also have a survival kit, so we could just wander off into the woods, technically speaking. That is an option for quite a while with our survival kit. How long do we have rations for? Half a month? Yeah, 2 weeks, not counting the fact that we can hunt. I'm pretty sure there's a trap kit. Toolkit, fishing rod, I believe. So, you know, assuming the planet's hospitable, which this planet is, of course, we could basically just wander off into the woods. Yep, snare wire, fishing pole. There's a lot we can do. That's the other thing I wanted to buy. I wanted programs. Given I want to show off all of the Galactic Requiem stuff, we probably at some point should actually, you know, like hack, you know, actually experience the net, show off, organize. Look, let's ask more general questions to get back into this. Yuliana Aldous just completed a contract. She's been doing contracts for the past few days, getting a day or two of rest each time. There's probably going to be another race soon, which we probably want to actually visit. Um, the racetrack would be nice. Watch a race. Wander around the city. Like, there's endless options. We could spend time seeing if we can customize our vehicle or our weapons. Hey, this is going to be a slow day. Don't expect any gunfights today. We might get to exploration, but I just want to talk about our character. Um, we can get all sorts of equipment, like just that's what I love about Galactic Requiem. It is a simulated universe. Well, there's multiple technically galaxies and so forth. It's technically a simulated universe, but everything mainly takes place in one galaxy. Technically, you know, the Grand Dimensional Empire being dimensional or from another dimension, but we deal with only usually the Imperial forces in the galaxy. Doesn't really matter to look at other universes, you know, or galaxies. Also, of course, like Elysians, you're from a different dimension. And the Elysians in the galaxy that arrived through a multidimensional portal. So, there's that. And, there's a few other ancient nations that deal with multiple dimensions, but they're rare. We're not going to get into the ancient nations. They were all destroyed by the Empire, basically. That's all you need to know. Um, um, like stuff like that. Of course, there are a few instances of areas of space being shifted. Weird stuff in that manner. But, it's a galaxy. Mostly everything takes place in the galaxy. GCAC G1. I'd have to check my news script or my law book. GSAC G1. Galactic Standard Astronomical Catalog Galaxy 1. How is it the first galaxy? How is it Galaxy 1 if the Empire is from a different galaxy? Because Galactic Standard System is based on and agreed upon arrival in this system. In this universe, more so. In this galaxy, even. And, well, given the fact that the Galactic Standard System was created in this galaxy by the galactic community, obviously, this is being the galaxy that originates the Galactic Standard System. It is the Galactic Standard Astronomical Calendar Galaxy 1. So that's why it's Galaxy 1, if you want to know why. Given the fact that there's multiple galaxies and universes and all that. It's not like it's, Anyway. So, yeah. Huh. We appear to still be having slight technical issues. Anyway. So, like this, we can buy anything. We can start an organization. There's very little we can't do. Like, why don't we look at our items list? Yeah, well, basically what I'm trying to say is, like, we could get a custom handle for our assault rifle, or a custom grip more so than handle. We could get a bunch of different sights or a good sight. Swap out for a heavy barrel. Like all sorts of different slings. Scope mounts. Attach a tactical flashlight to our weapon. Point being, there's copious amounts of customization we could do. We could even just literally paint the assault rifle. Well, it's a laser rifle, but like, there's countless options. Get a different camo scheme. Currently, I assume our laser rifle is dark gray. And it is currently firing, I believe, red beams. Of course, laser rifles don't need to fire beams with color. That's not necessary. They can have invisible lasers. There are even silent laser rifles. Ours, however, is not invisible nor silent. It definitely lets out a loud crackling sound and fires beams. I think they were red. It's been a while. I think I haven't mentioned the color before. If I did, it was red. I might be wrong. It might have been blue. I didn't note it. But these are things we could note. All sorts of vehicle upgrades we could get for our vehicle. So many options. I'm really well. That's what we were gonna ask. What is Yuzana Aldous thinking, having just done another mission? I don't think she wants to go and get shot at again immediately. Probably not. Hmm. We did get $5,000. Let's look at the city map. Why not? Okay, I just renamed the map real fast so I can find it so much easier. Now we just need to find the other map. Is it retrieval overview? No. Underground overview? No, that's the other section. Base screen on? No. This is the problem we face when naming things. This is the one we're looking for, and we're going to rename it immediately. The other one was city. Okay. There, now they should be next to each other. They'll make it so much easier to find. So, we are here. Let us actually delete this token, because I want to use the fancier one. So, let's pop up to here. Copy this, because it has all of our settings. Paste it, and we have all of our settings. We can remove them, because they're no longer there. And we are back home at the gang base. We could probably look for a cafe if we wanted. There are no longer wrecked SUVs on the road. We can do whatever, that's the problem. That's the real problem. We can do whatever. But what does Ulanaldus want to do? Probably re-equip, probably spend some time not fighting. So, the question we face, if that is the case, what equipment do we need or want? What do we want to do with our spare time? What do we want to... I mean, of course we're going to train. How long do we wish to spend not fighting? But also, the, lots of this is up to the bot, so things could go south. We have the majority of a month before we get our training done. Not ideal. Could probably get it sped up at a trainer. We could also buy one training, 50,000, one of the cheaper ones. We couldn't train casting energy reserves because we'd have to find a caster for that, and those are rare. I mean, we can't train it with a trainer, we can train it ourselves. Hmm. You know what? Let's go look at The news of our homeland, our home world. It's not too far away, and there shouldn't be too much jamming. We are near-ish a war zone, so let's check. Are we being jammed? First we roll chaos, no chaos. These extra, communications out of the planet, specifically the area we're in, being jammed. 5 and 7. Is 12. 12 is yes. 12 is yes. But what if no? Now, the bot has decided. We can't change that. Or can we? We have 2 favor. Let's double check the rules. Favor lets us change bot roles. Now, it's probably dumb to waste a bot role, favor, on this. Probably absolutely a waste. So we gotta drop it to 10 in order to get to the next tier. Our total was 12. We'll use both of our favor. And we're not being jammed, but it is spotty. Communication out of the planet is spotty. Did I spend favor for flavor? Yes. So we'll communicate off-world. We'll basically project towards our homeworld. It's not too far. Let us check the datanet rules real fast. Here we are. Datanet scale, network scaling. So it'll take us a short while to connect out of the sector. If our homeworld's out of the sector, it wouldn't be too far away. It's in the Terran nations, at least. So it's definitely within our range. That's not the problem. Okay, so yeah, we'll zoom in on our homeworld. Home system, connect to home world. And we will look at news. It's a basic check, by the way, so there's no need to actually roll on it. Because it's like, basically, in short, network-wise, swapping locations, there are times, if they're protected or guarded, that there are roles involved and all that. But we're just actively connecting to a network in another system, so it's really just basically typing in the, for you Elysians, it's equivalent to typing in a URL, basically, but it's just basically moving through network nodes. There's no check necessary for that, because we know where we're going. We know how to get there. It's easy. No network navigation needed. Now, if you didn't know where you were going, like the location and so forth, you might need to actually use network navigation to find it, but luckily, since you and all this is from there, she knows. So, now that we're in the network, let's look at the news. Let me bring up my random generator. Probably need that to figure out what the news is, given that this is, bot run. Open with. There we go. Actually, it's probably easier to do it in the AI bot because it has it built in. Here we are. That way I don't need to look up the rules. I can do both of it at once. So, what news is there of our homeworld? A D6 and a D10? $37 and a D8 and a D10. There's the D8. Here we are. Ooh. It's an 8, so we add a detail and reroll. That needs clarification. That's not ideal. Oh, okay. So that's 660. $60? $36.60. Nope, $37.60. Sorry. $37.60. Oh, that sure is news of our homeworld. Don't worry, it will be displayed in a second. I'm just getting it all prepared. That's our first bit of news. We also need to add a detail because we rolled an 8. So we'll do that in a second. Usually there's 2 images that need to be generated, so let's generate the second image. $29 and $29 19. 29 and 19. Huh. This is going to be interesting to interpret once we get it prepared. And we need a detail from a detail check. Detail check table. What's our current chaos, as it is relevant to the way a detail check works? That would be below us? Yep, here we are. 4. Current chaos is 4. So no modifier, just this roll flat. Favors NPC. Okay. One more thing we need to do, which is roll on the chart. Here we go. Okay. I suppose now that we have it all set, let us show. Oh, did I only do half of it? Then roll on. There we are. Two more rolls. My apologies. $30. Fancy. Deliverer. Hmm. Oh, here we are. Let us paste it in. These are the symbols we got. We are checking the news of Yulana's home system. The result is favors NPC, fancy plus deliver. And we have a picture of skulls and a person with wings recoiling from the sun or an explosion. So the way this works is we interpret these results to come to an infinite amount of options. So what is going on in the news of Yulana's homeworld? Well, given the skulls and what appears to be like, look, here's the first thing that pops into mind is the first thing that immediately popped into mind was somebody likely committed an act of terrorism on the world. I mean, the skulls, one of them's happy, and there's a person and an explosion. So more than likely, there was very recently some form of terrorist event on Juliana Aldous' homeworld. I mean, Yulan Aldous is not surprised. She despises her local government. I say local, her homeworld government. So this doesn't surprise her. But we do got to note what the result is translated as. A terrorist attack occurred in the star system. Okay. So let's do a bit more interpretation. Likely led by rebel forces. Okay. Sorry about that, I hit the wrong button. That's not ideal. Sometimes we have a few problems when it comes to this because of how we're going about displaying our screen. No dash, okay? Here we go. Rebel forces attacked a government area due to unrest. Let me double check our law. Assuming I can find it. Oh, yes, Yulan Aldous wants a ship and wants to learn more about casting. She also wants revenge, of course. Due to unrest involving the in a war in a foreign war. There we go. In a different Terran nation. So, as you know, lore-wise, R, the planet we're on, is at war. A civil war between itself. And there's 5. It's not really technically a civil war because they're different independent nations. But there are like 5 nations on this world. 2 of them are at war with each other. As you know, if you do know, this system is quite an important point in connecting 2 separate areas in deep space. It's basically a transit lane via FTL. Now, these 2 nations that are at war with each other, one of them is being supported by Yuliana Aldis's former government. None of this is technically new. This is all stuff we already knew. And since we're looking up information about it and tying it together using, what's the word again? Shit, I lost the word. But basically, as those are all facts we know about her homeworld in this place, and since we've interpreted that as a terrorist attack, it's likely that rebel forces from that world have done so because of this war that's going on this planet. Because it is drawing resources, as you've seen, like the mercenary forces were using equipment from Aldous' home world. And as we mentioned before our previous mission, several sessions ago, that they specifically are supporting one of the sides of this war with all sorts of equipment and so forth. So likely that happened because of that. I mean, it's not like it's the nicest world, but like, it's not like they, like the rebels, too much care about the same thing Yelena Aldous cares about, which was being forced into the military because she was a caster. The government of that world, her home system, forces casters into the military, which is one of the reasons that she has a hatred of her local government. So, I mean, her being a caster. So, yeah. So basically, it's probably not, I mean, that's probably not what the rebels care about, but, they care about the fact that the government's supporting one of these two factions in this war that loosely doesn't really relate to their local government in any way, shape, or form. Because it's not like it's a different system fighting another system, that they have one ties with one system. It's a singular world, so, you know. Anyway. Um, so yeah, there's a news report going on in which they're talking about basically the recent event in which, well, explosions have occurred in the system due to this unrest. Obviously, likely they're portraying it as, well, they're portraying it quite hostilely. I mean, Yulana Aldous doesn't disagree. Like, she's not entirely happy about it, but she's not entirely upset about it. I mean, like, she absolutely despises that government. So, let's see. Hmm. Let's look at some equipment. What does the armor have built in? Do we have any augments? We do have augments. No, we don't have augments. We have a neural data pad and an AI in it. That's the limit of our augments. For a second there, I saw things next to augments. I thought we had actual augments, like, cool stuff. And enhanced memory, all sorts of fancy stuff. But no, no, we don't have any cybernetics. Hmm. Is there anything we really, really want to buy? You have a shotgun? Ooh, I know what we want to buy. What's the point of having a shotgun if we don't have any special ammo? Let's buy bunches of special ammo, which are cheaper for shotguns. Here we are. Hmm. Ammo? What fancy things do we want? Improved damage? No, no, no. We want fun stuff. Low plas. Low acid? Low electricity? No, not fun enough. Cryo rounds, yes. That's what we want. Sorry, just grabbing the stat block here. And fire rounds. Why not? Low cryo and low fire. Let's see how much this will cost. 50%. Okay. One for one. So 1.5 per shell. $90. Sure, I'm willing to spend $90. There's copious amounts of types of shotgun shells we could get. But we'll just go with low cryo and low fire for around $90 for now. Nope, we're looking for money. That drops us to $10. And we bought 3 of each. Let me make sure I did my math right. 10 times 6, yeah, so 3 of each. 3 mags low cryo slugs. 3 mags low fire slugs. Okay, so they're not the best, I'll be honest. Like, we got the bad ones. The better ones would have cost more, but like it's not like we couldn't afford it. But when I say bad and not the best, I mean like they have effect. Basically, we're looking at a D6. Not a D6, sorry, a D4. We're looking at a D4 fire and a D4 ice or cold damage, basically. But the upside is fire means our targets will catch fire and continue to burn, theoretically, while our cryo rounds causes our enemies to begin locking up. They will need to make DC saves, or they will be paralyzed. Let me double check the rules on that. That would be under health. Yep, health. Scroll up. So yeah, it'll provide them a lot of debuffs basically for the cryo, and fire will just do more damage. Plus 1d for cold, plus 1d for fire. Target catches fire. Plus 1d for cold. DC 15, or let me double check the rules on that. No, paralyzed is the good one. These are low, so let me double check. Stunned. I believe it's 1d4. Let's double check. No, it's 1 round. 1d4 is for the better version. Okay. So we have 3 mags of low cryo and 3 mags of low fire. That will allow us to do cold damage. That one allows us to do fire damage. Not bad. They are also slugs, meaning we apply another thing. Let us double check. Shotgun ammo. Come on. Here we are. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's just not going to be a damage penalty per thing. Okay. Very good. So we have some specialty ammo for our shotgun now. Actually more, because we also had armor-piercing slugs. And 5 mags of standard shot. Five mags of basic shot. Also have, that's what's loaded. So how did we type that on previous one? Standard loaded. We should probably get more grenades, but we'll have to do for now. Grenade launcher, that's what I was considering. How much would that be? They're licensed, we'd have to pay extra. And it's the fancy kind. I mean, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. But that will be an additional, doing the math, 2,000 bucks. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Let us attach this grenade launcher. Where is it? Let me double check things. My apologies. Yep. '60mm grenade launcher. 60-foot range increment. 0 out of 1 int. Out of 1 int. Single. Actually, single shot, so 2 S's. Or is it 1? 1 second. Let me check the book. It is indeed single. So ROF is literally just 1. 1 ROF. But it does have a weight, and that is 3 pounds. Not 4, 3. Come on, hit the right buttons. Dash. Loaded. So now we have grenade launchers strapped to the bottom of our laser rifle. We have nothing loaded yet. We could slap a grenade in there. We only have one type of grenade. Those are frag. We should probably buy a bunch of different grenades at some point. There are also cryo grenades, adhesive grenades, stun grenades, frag grenades, HE grenades. There's copious amounts of grenades for us to run with. But for now, we'll keep on frag because we're spending money quite a bit. And that'll allow us to launch our grenades further. Assuming we're not, using any of the special methods like planting and so forth. Let's note those on our sheets. We don't need to swap over to here to find them, That seems like a good idea. Because we noted that they are multi-purpose, but we didn't actually note what kind. So, copy that. Go over to here, find our grenades. 2 spaces. No. There we are. Now we know what they do a little bit better. Don't need the cost, because we can always look up the book if we need that. Wait, if I get rid of the cost, can I hit tab and not have that problem? Yes, perfect. Okay. We are starting to look exceptionally armed. We have a melee weapon, we have a combat knife, we have a bunch of grenades, we have a shotgun, an assault rifle, a pistol, well, a laser assault rifle, a pistol, heavy combat armor, meaning we look exceptionally bulky as we stomp around. We're just short and a launcher of some form, not a grenade launcher, but a missile launcher. If we had a missile launcher, there's nothing we couldn't fight, like at this point. Well, there's not nothing we couldn't fight, you know. You Ronaldus couldn't fight me. That wouldn't end well for her, even with a rocket launcher. But, like from a we have an anti-armor weapon, we have an anti-air weapon if someone get a multi-purpose rocket launcher with anti-armor rocket and anti-air rocket. We have anti-infantry with all laser rifle and grenades. We have a breaching shotgun with specialty ammo. You know? We are starting to actually look kitted out. And yet we're nowhere near as kitted out as we could be. We could get a bunch of more programs. We could train up our casting to have more dedicated casts. We could get a lot of more attachments. There's a lot we could do. But we've been going for quite some time. So I think we are going to call it there for the day. We'll try and get all technical issues sorted. And next time, we will hopefully actually go on a mission and or actually wander around the town. Just do more. So, yeah, thank you all for stopping by. As always, I've been your host, Casimir Basilius, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. We should, theoretically, have news on Tuesday, like galactic news, not, hey, here's an announcement. Like, we'll have a galactic news broadcast on Tuesday, probably. And then, of course, World Building Wednesday on Wednesday. And then back to this. So, yeah, thank you all for stopping by, and have a wonderful day.